Today, we're going to go through the invoice details page changes. The invoice details page in our 4.0 site is greatly updated from the 3.14 site. Your basic information is all here along with some extras, but it is in some different locations. So starting off at the top quarter of the page is designed for AP and super users specifically because your main portion of your job is confirming your header information, commenting, directing, and checking on why an invoice is on hold. The goal was to be able to show you this information without needing to scroll, depending on the resolution of your monitor. You also have the button row up here at the top as well as throughout the page. So you can open, edit your header up here. This opens up invoice number, PO number, date, as well as being able to change your pay site information or change your vendor. If you need to change your vendor, your search vendor will come up. And just like you do in other locations, you'll be able to search for the vendor that you want. You also have your ability to change between PO and non-PO. You can cancel unsaved changes. You can save just your header changes if you are updating your division, reference number, or if you're using post-date options. This will also run PO rules. So if you want to rerun the PO rules for any reason on an invoice manually, you can do so just by clicking Save Header Changes. You can see your full image view when you click View Invoice Image, just as you do now. Your ellipsis has your line export, your archive, manual import, your invoice processing history, tenant transfer, as well as you can now move an invoice directly to posted if necessary. So you can move an invoice that you're looking at from the hold it is on or the status it is in directly to posted. And you can go between previous and next invoices at the top. You have a thumbnail of the image here, so if you just want to do a quick view to do audits, you can do so. Your commenting section, you have comment to, directed to, approval group, special handling, awaiting information, standard comments. Standard comments, if you do not already have this functionality, is set up on the client info page where you can enter a series of comments that you regularly utilize, and they will pre-populate the description for you. You can email save comment. You can print comment history. This will give you a printable PDF of the comment history, so you can see what an invoice has gone through and the header information. If you use self-assessed tax, that section is right here on the right. And you can see the comment history here in the center. On the PO invoices, your purchase order is in this pull-down box here. So it is going to show your purchase order and receiver information. Your unassigned receivers will be gray. If you want to see assigned receivers, they will be in green or pink when chosen. Receivers assigned to other invoices will be in red. And if your ERP or your data files cannot separate out fully invoiced receivers or PO lines, those will show in green. Again, you have lots of information in here. What is available is going to be dependent upon what is available from the ERP. Directly under this section, you can do your find, your insert, your assign, and your clear search, along with view your invoice image again. And at the bottom is an expandable section for the invoice line details. So this is what would have come in from the OCR or electronic file. And again, you have options for opening and editing the line items. So now these line items are editable. Changing to non-PO, canceling, viewing the invoice image, override holds where available, adding blank lines where needed, as well as also the ellipsis, the same as at the top. And you can go between next and previous invoices from the bottom as well as from the top. Some additional items, if you do not currently have them, is the additional documents. You can add additional documents to an invoice, in which it can be in any of these formats. That image will stay with the invoice unless it is removed and can be shown as a concatenated PDF if we are sending it either out to a image repository system or even when you just click the view. There is also a new section for vendor and user notes here. Vendor notes are notes that are put on the vendor to assist with OCR processing, such as the purchase order might be in the line item description, or the invoice number is the account number plus the date. And then user notes would be any kind of notes that you want to have available for whoever is processing the invoice within the workflow. It could be geocoding notations. It could be things to watch for specifically with that vendor. Any kind of oddities that can affect or might need to be handled manually within an invoice, you can now add user notes as well, so you can view those user notes. I'm going to go over to a non-PO invoice, and I'll show you the difference with the non-PO invoice. So non-PO invoices have the same header section, same information at the header, same information at the lines. Your difference is that your geocoding are in these sections here. Again, they're expandable. You have your geocoding configured to however your geocoding is currently configured. Same rules apply as far as hierarchical assignment, defaults, different things like that. Those are all still the same. If you use category codes or additional geocoding, such as project coding, job costing, entities, anything like that, those will still be available right here. There is also the option to do allocation coding. Allocation coding allows you to pre-distribute an invoice to one or more geocodes based on a percentage, and that can be assigned to the vendor or at the time of invoice. And you'll also be able to see, once you have processing history, you'll be able to see the last 3 or 5 invoices that have been processed and approved and exported for this vendor. You will see the approval group they went to. You will see the invoice number. You will see the geocoding and the dollar amounts that were associated with those line items. And so you can insert directly from this segment into the current invoice coding, or use it to assist with directing an invoice or selecting the geocoding manually. The approval still has to be done once the geocoding is fully completed. So invoice total, geo total have to match. There can be no invoice difference. At that point, your current approval rules take over, whether that is dollar amount based or ordered based. Your rules will take over for the approve and final approve options. You can also view the geocoding in a pop-up. So if you have a lot of geocoding lines that you have, you can view it in this pop-up and edit and delete. You cannot add from this pop-up, but you can edit or delete any of the lines that are already added to the invoice from this pop-up.